What's up, guys? Welcome back to this channel. I'm Simon Sanyango, and this is Black Voices. So today I want to share with you a video of history, a reunion of Black Americans, all the blacks around the world came to Eastern Kentucky to reunite, to celebrate their roots, to celebrate their culture, and just humanity in general. It was a nice meeting. They came up with different views, they shared entertainment, they just reunited and came together. It was a show of unity, a celebration of a lot of things that we can do today. So as you watch this video, I want you to remember one thing, that we can still be united as our ancestors were. We can still be there for one another. This unity, this togetherness is in the DNA of each and every one black person in this world. Uh, I would like our future generations to have, when they see us, when they see you, when they see all of us, when they see us, they see collaborations, they see strength, they see progress, they see some kind of unity that we can see on our ancestors. So watch this video. Don't forget to subscribe at the end of it, and then share with your friends and family. Let's build a community that reunite, that remembers each other. When there's challenges, we always come through for each other. That is what blacks are known for, and that's what we will always stand for. Let's just watch the video, and then I'll see you in the next video.
Good evening. Welcome to Headwaters. This evening we will attend the 1981 reunion of the East Kentucky Social Club. At the end of the show, we'll look at some clips from shows that we'll be presenting in this, our 4th season of Headwaters.
You coming out? It looks good. I'll have a good time, all right? Hey, let me start all over again. Hey, let me start all over again. How you doing, Mike? Y'all have a good time, all right?
We've evolved something called the Eastern Kentucky Social Club, and usually every year 3,000 or 4,000 of us get together. The moving reunion, moving in the figurative sense of the unique camaraderie exhibited by thousands of mountain black people. And you could never find, except as you will this coming Labor Day in Cleveland, 3,000 or 4,000 black people, 2 and 3 generations, all together around the common focus of their heritage as being from coal mining families. These reunions are also moving too, literally, for their pattern of being hosted in the different cities where we migrated to. We've held them in Chicago, we've held them in Cleveland before, in Louisville, in Dayton, in New York City, in Philadelphia, and we're going to have it next year, if I can work it out, in Lexington, Kentucky.
I hope so far you have had a wonderful and enjoyable visit here in Cleveland. As Ms. Clark said, although it's not the Big Apple, we do know it's the Little Plum, and it's good.
This is a rather spontaneous group. They get together and change their good times and the sorrows of each other to bring the children. And many of us haven't seen each other in several years. And we spend this time just having a jolly good time, talking about the good times we had back in the hills of Kentucky.
Where about you live?
I live in Louisville, Kentucky there. I worked in Eastern Kentucky about 15 years.
Where'd you work at?
I was the principal of a high school.
Where about?
Now, Jenkins, Kentucky.
We're from Whitesburg.
You from Whitesburg?
Yeah.
What you doing here? You following us?
Yeah.
Whitesburg. Oh, yes. What's your name?
It's not possible at this time to name each of the members of the Cleveland chapter, but we will at this time introduce to you the officers of the Cleveland chapter of the Eastern Kentucky Social Club. Mr. Charles Leffridge, my vice president. Mrs. Della Watts, my wife first, and then my executive corresponding secretary.
I am a executive housekeeper in the current hospital.
What about you?
I'm at Children's Hospital. I'm Clara's sister. That's Clara's mother right there.
All right. Tell us about yourself. Where you work?
Well, I work at Children's Hospital of Michigan.
You were born in Michigan?
I was born in Kentucky. No, I was reared in Kentucky. Kentucky is my home.
Are you all from Alabama originally?
I am from Alabama.
Oh, you are? Where about?
Born in Alabama.
Where does the Alabama thing come from? Everybody from around here at some point ends up in Alabama.
Well,
They come to Kentucky when they are young.
and then that's where we stay.
You were born in Alabama?
Yes.
Where about?
Butler, Choctaw County.
Choctaw County, Alabama. How long have you lived in Washington?
16 years.
What do you do there?
Administrative supervisor for AT&T.
And you went to Lynch High School?
Yes.
Uh-huh. What are you doing here today in Cleveland?
Came to see friends from Kentucky.
Came to see. What about you, sir? Mr. French, I think.
Yeah, Billy French. They call me home. I'm from Lynch, Kentucky.
What are you doing here?
I'm here for the reunion, Eastern Kentucky reunion.
Where do you live right now?
I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
What do you do there?
I'm an employee relations manager with General Electric Company.
Are your family from Lynch, Kentucky?
Yes, right.
You have brothers and sisters. Where do they live?
Got 3 brothers and 1 sister live right here in Cleveland.
What about you, sir?
My name is Richard Brown from New York. I was originally born in Lynch, Kentucky. I'm here for the reunion.
And what do you do in New York, Richard?
I work for a sanitation department, and plus I'm an air conditioning refrigeration repairman.
Are you from Lynch originally?
No, I came with the Browns and the Davis.
Oh, so you just... What do you think about people from Eastern Kentucky?
I love them. Everybody I've seen are really great.
They positive people?
Positive, yes.
And you were from New York originally?
Well, originally I'm from Alabama.
Oh, a lot of them are from Alabama.
Right, and since I was maybe an early teenager, I've been in New York.
Very nice to talk to you. Son, what's it do to you?
I want to say hi to my mama.
My name is Barbara.
And I'm Arnita Brown from New York. And I'm just glad to be here again, and I hope they continue. Bye. Hello, Mother.
And I want a whole lot of heat because I'm going to get away from here.
The blacks that came to the Central Appalachians aimed to work on the railroads and in the mines. Mining was the first time they had ever had a labor wage classification. That is to say, it was the first time many of them ever got any money in their hands. At the beginning of the 20th century, blacks accounted for 35% of all southern Appalachian coal miners.
I love you so hard. God knows that it was no joy.
They retained a a certain distinctive black rural-type cultural heritage protected by the isolation of the region, to me represent Afro-American purity in its finest level.
Just coming in here to work, you know, from the railroads and the farms and places like that, you know. It was coming from Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and places like that, coming up here to work. I remember well when they used to they were dynamiting all the cliffs, and people, all the women and the children had to stay in the back. And I remember a portion of when they were bringing the houses in sections to put up, you know. And the sun was already here, and
all houses look the same.
They were all just alike in the state of life. And I remember when they cut down all the huge trees, you know, had these big chains tied up to the top to throw them back up the hill. And after they cut the trees, then fall of the year, the men would go up in the woods and saw these big, huge blocks, and we made a winter wood out of it. That was the company. Everything was owned by the company. But
to Earlene Blunt Trimble, in appreciation for your leadership, dedication, and commitment to the Eastern Kentucky Social Club, I present this plaque to you from the Cleveland chapter of the Eastern Kentucky Social Club. Mr. James Stevens, I would like for him to come forward. Mr. Stevens, he is my business manager, and he have been the one and only business manager out of the 12 years of our reunions that we have had, even though starting with the first one here in Cleveland. And he has been loyal and faithful, and I don't know what else I could say other than he's been a good man. I was in Kentucky from 8 months old, so I have to call it home. And I left there when I was 17. I joined the service. Coal mine was flourishing, and the schools was flourishing. We still had our championship teams, and every so often Louisville would come up and beat us to death, and but we would go down and beat Louisville to death too, and Lexington. They was the ones that had the big schools. We only had little small schools where they would have 2, 3, and 4 teams to substitute. We only had one, and maybe 3 or 4 substitutes to go with that one.
a lot of noise, excitement, people, simple people, finding simple joys and getting great happiness out of it, because they mostly have to create their own happiness and funds and things, you know. Just like coming up, for instance, that'd be the 8th of August. It's coming up. That'd be Friday. And that was the Black Man's Day, because it was the emancipation for the black man. On that day, it was a special day for black people. They had parades. The old women, you know, that was the leaders of the community. They dress up real fine, look like queens, and ride horses. They'd have the horses decorated. Men would have their cars all decorated. The rumble seat pulled up, all crowded in the back. Boys, marching bands behind, and when they get to the ball field where we were going to perform, we did this all through town, both towns, black community and white community. And when we get to the ballpark, then there will be Dixie Cup catches. You know, how many Dixie Cups you catch, you can eat them whole, you know, 5 cent Dixie Cups. And watermelon pitch watermelon out, catch a big watermelon on it, it's yours. Ice cream and fat man race. Fat woman race, skinny man race, skinny woman. Greasy pole climb by half that pole. They tack a piece of money on top of it, and whoever climbs it is theirs, you know. And all kinds of things. We go ready for it. Greasy pig run. Oh man.
One old black man told me in regard to my query about why aren't we more active politically. He said, if you don't mess with white folk in Bessemer, Alabama, you sure don't mess with them in bloody Harlan County.
The black people use the same company store, the same facilities as everybody else in the camp.
Yeah,
They have a theater?
No, the theater was Jim Crow. We had a place about twice as big as this porch that we had in the theater. And the rest of the huge theater was for the white people. Although we did start protest march and things, you know. We set up in the front row. They didn't allow us to sit in the front row. So one day we all made up our mind, all those boys and girls, and we got the rest of Had a big time down there. Oh.
Do you think there's any difference between black people in the mountains and white people in the mountains, or you think they're just about the same?
What is a white man anyway? What is a white man?
We didn't have to deal with a race thing. Our town was too small, basically, you know. And you're living in a coal mining community, you were thrown together. There was no way to separate anybody. You didn't have anywhere to go.
You probably came one of the greater distances from Los Angeles, California. Is that where you live?
Yes, presently.
What does it do for you to come to this every year?
This is the grand finale. This is all about vacation. It's a reunion of home, peer group, and all of your elders.
Once your roots is there, it's always home to any Kentuckian. But the main thing is not just the Lynch chapter. That was one mistake. It's the Eastern Kentucky. It's all of Kentucky. It's the eastern part of Kentucky.
It involves Lynch, Benham, Cumberland, Harlan, Llewellyn, Clovis Glen, High Glen, Jenkins, Mag Roberts.
Will the Lord remember me when I'm called to go? When I've crossed this chilly stream with its lonely shore. Oh yes, he heard my fever cry. From bondage he set me free. And when I reach the pearly gate, he will remember me.
Wheelwright, Pikeville, Fleming, it's all around the area.
Eastern part of Kentucky.
And when they speak about it as Lynch, it's not fair, even though right now Lynch is almost surviving where some of them are closing down, but the original part of it, you have to take it from the whole.
Black miners between 1930 and 1950 decreased from 44,000 to 26,000, and white miners in that same period increased from 115,000 to 250,000. So that for the decrease of every one black miner by attrition or retirement, there was an increase of 3 whites. Today, less than 6% of all miners in southern Appalachia are black, and the ratio of blacks in the population is just over half that figure, about 3.4%.
You used to have a bunch of youngsters here. You don't have that here anymore. And we had one time we had just about everything here that they could have back out here on these coal fields. We had the filling station, we had the shoe shop, we had the fountain over there. And now, big bathhouse right down there, now we ain't got none of that. Every bit of that's gone. We ain't got it. One time we had a train coming up here. Well, the railroad station's gone. It's tore out. Well, there just ain't nothing left but just a few old people.
They had essentially been a link in a black chain of imported slave laborers. They were the transported and transplanted coal miners, and then they became the supplanted unskilled workers in a machine-intensive industry that chose white hands until the next machine proved more efficiently than the bare minimum of human labor required.
They're just gone. They served their purpose.
When the company closed down here, what happened to the South?
Pretty sad. Everybody was just wondering what was going to happen. They didn't have anywhere to go, and then the only thing they could do was just lean to depend upon the Lord to make a way. And because they were trying to get rid of it, all the black people, I'm sure, because they begun to sell the houses to anybody. They would sell these houses for $25 and $30, you know, and the people come in and tear the house down. You see all these spots and things. That's what they were doing. And so most of them came down here and doubled up, you know, try to stay here, and then other places their husband leave and try to find work, and leave the families here with the people here to help take care of, you know, people like to starve, and little children be standing around without food or something. They go in somebody's house, you know, and those people would feed them or something like that, you know. And then they wouldn't know where the husband was because he'd be out somewhere trying to find work. Then maybe he'd come in about 2 or 3 o'clock one week, you know, one weekend, and bring a truck and gather up his family, what little he could, you know, care of them. They'd be leaving. Sometimes they leave, we wouldn't know they'd gone, and sometimes some of them be leaving. They would come to town. They would holler through the night, holler, "Well, Miss Kimmel, we're gone." Be all the people come together. Had a rough time. It was really rough.
I was born in Wilton, Kentucky, but I was raised in Lynch, Kentucky. In the eastern part, up in the hills. The mining.
Okay. And you lived in Lynch. What is your name?
Viola Shively Wallace McDaniel.
Woo! Is it right to ask a lady? Are you from Lynch? You man his mother.
Right.
That's what you leave Lynch.
I left 1963.
63?
And I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, you live in Brooklyn.
Right.
Do you ever miss the mountains?
Oh, yes.
You do? You liked it when you were there?
All the time.
Okay. Thank you very much. You two are brothers, aren't you?
Yeah.
Been for a long time.
You were raised where?
In Lynch, Kentucky.
Where do you live now?
In Boston, Massachusetts. I teach there.
What do you do in Boston?
Well, I'm a teacher. I've been teaching there about 10 years now.
Your mother taught in Lynch, I understand.
Yes, about 35 years.
And
yes.
She taught you too?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
And you graduated Lynch High School?
1950.
Hey, Billy, here's another year back from Lynch, Kentucky.
Brown?
How are you?
Where do you live at?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
I understand that you all recently lost Brother Frank Brown. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Well,
What did he do for y'all club?
Well, he's the originator, really, of the Eastern Kentucky Social Club. He was our only president for the last 12 years. Yeah, right now.
So right, just this August.
Big pardon?
He passed away in August, I understand.
Yes, right. So, but we're carrying on though, anyway. Yeah.
Carrying the step and the cross of redemption. You'll understand and said, well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was in tribute to our late president of the Detroit chapter. We really lost a great president in Mr. Frank Brown.
The coal mines start slacking off. And our parents had to. When you got a family of 5 and 8 children, you have to find other places. So that's when my parents moved from Kentucky and came to Cleveland. He left the coal mines.
And not only that, I feel that what Kentucky did for us, it brought us up, gave us what we needed, and sent us out in the world to try to help make the world a better place, and this is what we did. And this is why we like to have our reunions in all of the cities of the United States that we possibly can to show the people what Kentucky is all about. It's not just bloody Harlan County that they remember.
I went to the place where I used to live. The grass had grown up around the door. Someone from across the street, they said, whom do you seek? For they don't come here anymore. They are somewhere around the throne of God. They are somewhere around the throne of God. I'll keep searching and searching till I'll find them somewhere
Hello, I'm Jeff Kaiser. This season of Headwaters promises to be entertaining and interesting. We'll visit the stare-off, listen to some of the best of traditional music. We'll also enjoy some clog dancing and sample the visual arts. We'll share with you a look at our civil defense plans, the day-to-day work of an underground coal miner, and other public affairs programs.
It is basically the last locker room in the world. It's a very macho atmosphere. And these guys take a lot of pride in what they do, and they justifiably do so. But it's hard for them to accept the fact that a woman, can do the same work.
Another Appleschott film, The Big Lever, will be shown in 2 parts in November.
We wonder what brought you here to the county line today?
To see President Nixon.
Have you been a fan of his for a while?
All the time.
Just happened to hear he was going to come by, and my wife wanted to see him, so I brought him. The closest that us people in Leicester County gets to someone like that is on television. And over here, we'll get to see him in person.
Well, just like I say, I think he's the best president we've ever had.
One thing, he knows how to handle a foreign country. And I think better than any president we ever had.
I don't know, I think he's just done a great job as president.
We like him or we wouldn't be here. Yeah. Okay, that's what...
I guess he's the sharpest president we had since Roosevelt, don't you think?
I've already been to Peking, and I've been in New York, and I'd been in Miami, Florida, and I'd been over to Los Angeles, and I thought this was a nice place to come to.
Frank Majority, a Whitesburg stonemason, will demonstrate his craft and talk about the Italians, whose stonework is so evident in southeastern Kentucky.
No, this is the old way. The modern style, most of the stones are already made at the plants where the quarries. A lot of them are sawed, but this is the old way. It was for thousands of years they've used.
We will visit Amanita Sequoia, one of the last of the traditional Cherokee medicine men.
A medicine man is gifted from a great spirit, you might call it, from God. Now, if he's a real medicine man.
That's a glimpse at what's coming up on Headwaters this season. Headwaters is made possible in part by grants from the National Endowment for the Arts, a federal agency, and from the Virginia Commission for the Arts. We want to hear your opinions about the shows you've seen and your ideals for future programs. Please feel free to write to us at Headwaters, Box 743, Whitesburg, Kentucky, 41858.